Okay, the Parramatta Eels have announced a 15-year lease on the new Western Sydney Stadium, which is a replacement for Pirtek Stadium. Now, they've been on the road for 2 years, basically in the Sydney area. ANZ and Allianz are basically ground sharing with the Roosters, the Rabbitohs, and all the other Sydney teams that don't necessarily have a home ground. Pirtek was considered to be old and not up to the new NRL standard of stadiums. It was getting tired. It did need a bit of love. TLC. They decided to completely rebuild, and that is totally acceptable. The fact they've had to sign a lease, though, is a worrying trend now going forward for sports teams, that they don't own the buildings that they play in, and that has led, in many cases, to issues with ownership of stadium and the teams coming to disagreements over the lease and leading to some concerns about where teams play. Parramatta obviously have played in that part of Sydney since inception in 1947. They intend to continue to do so, and this is a positive move by both Parramatta and the NRL. This shows what can be done when you rebuild a stadium in situ. It has cost 300 million Australian dollars, so it's not been a cheap build, but it's looking good. It's designed for rugby league. Parramatta will be the sole or the main leaseholder. There will be other teams that may play games there, maybe A-League football, maybe rugby union may play a game there. So other sports and other events will be held there, but Parramatta will be the primary leaseholders. But this shows what can be done when you rebuild a stadium in situ and get it right. If you come over here to England, you look at Tottenham Hotspur and how badly wrong they've got the rebuild of White Hart Lane. The Parramatta new stadium in Western Sydney shows what you can do when you get the planning right, the timings right, and do it properly. Yes, it has been expensive, but it hasn't overrun, and it is due to be opened on Easter Day against the West Tigers. So there you go. Parramatta will have a new home. They will stop having to travel around Sydney, so they'll be playing back in basically the Parramatta area of Sydney. I think they were keen not to be moved out of Sydney. There's been rumours that a team may have moved out of the Sydney area elsewhere in Australia. Parramatta obviously were very keen to stay in the Sydney area, and they got their wishes. There we go. They're going back home. Thank you very much for watching. If you are an NRL fan, what do you think on the new stadium? Do you think it was the right move? Do you think Pirtek needed to be rebuilt or demolished? And I'll have some more videos for you soon.